For joining us on this. We'll of course cover more details on that in some time. For now, let's move on, viewers, to the Eid celebrations. Now, the country is celebrating Bakrid today. The celebrations have been peaceful and they were preceded by the governments in West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh stopping public slaughter of cows. Madras High Court too has set a precedent on the matter, directing Tamil Nadu government and police to ensure ban on cow slaughter in public places on Eid. The court observed that slaughter cannot be done in any place you want and the practice itself is not essential Bakrid celebration. With that, we have witnessed largely around the country peaceful celebrations. Can we draw a conclusion that a balance has been found on cow slaughter in the country? It is important for us to tell you, viewers, that cow slaughter is not banned. It is allowed but in designated and licensed areas. It is just public slaughter that has been acted upon. Let me now, in fact, open this up for discussions with my guests. I am joined in by former Chancellor of MAMU University, Firoz Bakht Ahmed. I also have a senior journalist, Bipin Sharma, and a social activist, Amber Zaidi. Firstly, let's get in a word from Bipin Sharma, senior journalist with us. Bipin, we've seen largely peaceful Bakrid celebrations. Is this the right precedent that has been set?
At the outset, happy Eid to all your viewers, to the entire countrymen and people across the globe. All festivals epitomize love, compassion, bonhomie, brotherhood. And, it augurs well for our country that if all the festivals are celebrated peacefully and with all love and bonhomie. So that is one aspect. And now, coming to this, the second aspect, the Madras High Court's directive or order, and citing the 1976 GO order, when it was made amply clear that cow slaughter should stop in the larger interest of improving the rural economy and then milk production. So then, and the summer vacation bench giving a clear-cut directive, standing instructions to the Chief Secretary and the DGP that they have to instruct all their subordinate officials that this particular order needs to be implemented. I think this actually needs to be hailed because first, that there are two aspects to this particular directive by the Madras High Court. One, that the ban on cow slaughter. Secondly, that the goat and the sheep also, they cannot be slaughtered roadside. They can only be slaughtered in the licensed slaughterhouses. So I think that also augurs well because we must understand that there are emotions involved as far as cow, which is hailed as a universal benefactor. Lot of emotions are attached. And then we go back to the mythological era, Lord Krishna. So that association is there. So I think this we also understand for a fact that the cow slaughter ban is not uniformly implemented across the length and the breadth of the country. And there are a lot of the gaps and then this tussle, the unending tussle between the center and the state. The federal structure is there. So all these aspects are there. But then this, the directive by the Madras High Court definitely needs to be hailed and appreciated.
In a word, with Dr. Ahmed also is there with us. Professor Ahmed, have we found the respectful balance that we were looking at?
Yeah, thank you very much for taking me in. First of all, this is not MAMU University, of which I was the chancellor. It is MANNU, that is Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Anyway, that's a typist devil. Now I welcome what my journalist friend has just expressed, the High Court's decision on this. Let me tell you one thing. As far as cow slaughter is concerned, basically Muslims don't welcome it. Let me begin with the quote of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. and through his hadith. Hadith is, any record left by or spoken by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said that cow's milk is something which is wonderful, which is a blessing, but cow's meat is poison. This is what he said. In Urdu, we say, गाय का दूध रहमत है और गोश्त जहमत है. Zahmat means poison. Very clearly, it has been stated by him. Now, another time I remember in 1837, the moment when Bahadur Shah Zafar took to his throne, he issued a fatwa. It was sometime in the month of December. He said that no Muslim should slaughter a cow because cow is a symbol of love, motherhood for our Hindu brethren. So we should not hurt their feelings. And he not only that he delivered this fatwa, apart from it, Darul Uloom Deoband in the city of Deoband, they also keep on issuing these fatwas. Now, having said that, let me assure you, there is hardly any Muslim who slaughters a cow because Muslims understand that slaughtering a very innocent animal like cow that actually entails the feelings of Hindu brethren, so it is not the right thing. So cows are not slaughtered, number one. Number two, even the government has issued an order that neither cow nor the ox or maybe the camel, they should not be slaughtered. For Muslims, their hadith says that if the country where we are living in, right, India is Darul Aman to Muslims, land of peace. So for us, the first duty, our hadith says, is to follow our constitution. So you might have not seen any Muslim this year and even earlier years slaughtering cows or maybe oxen or maybe, of course, camels, were slaughtered just to show the people. Now, this is a festival which is observed not by the show of your power, not by telling people that we have bought bakras of, worth lakhs of rupees. I saw there was, an animal which actually, for that, buffalo, they wanted 31 lakh rupees. Now, this is all showmanship. Now, this is a festival of sacrifice. Now, sacrifice of time, sacrifice of anything which is bad inside you, that should be taken out. So, what I mean is that we welcome this order, and apart from this, the neatness and cleanliness is half of Islam. It is half of the faith of Islam. And what people used to do in the earlier time, they used to throw all those, remains, the useless parts of goats and all the other animals on the roads. They used to create a lot of squelches, sting, and a lot of dirt and filth. So now I think it is well under control, and we Muslims are a vibrant community. We are law-abiding citizens of India, and whatever the government will say, we will follow that in good faith. Yes, Kriti.
Right. All right, Professor, stay on with me. Let's get in a word from Amber Zaidi as well. Amber, whoever was being a naysayer on this order, whether it was in West Bengal or UP, to ban public slaughter of cows and for requiring fitness certificates, what is the problem there? What is wrong with asking for a fitness certificate before an animal is slaughtered?
Kriti, I could not hear your question as froze, but someone is speaking continuously. Could you repeat the question, please?
Amber, I wanted to ask you, how would you respond to the naysayers of the public slaughter of cow order? There were some who were opposing it. They were saying, they were raising doubts over the government orders in states like West Bengal or UP, where they were asking for fitness certificates.
Kriti, first, let us separate emotions from facts. The court did not suddenly invent a new law. The court simply reminded that Tamil Nadu government or maybe West Bengal or Uttar Pradesh government to implement the laws that already existed in the state or in our constitution. And this is extremely important because the narrative being created in some circles that the judiciary is interfering with religion, but the factually, which is factually incorrect. Actually, the case is fundamental. The fundamentality about the enforcement of the law and constitution. What is the constitutional responsibility? Now, let us come to the constitution itself. Article 48 of the Indian Constitution clearly directs that the states should take steps in preserving and protecting the cows and cattle. And this provision was not, added casually. The farmers and the constitution, the framers, they understood very well that the constitution and the what was the social and agricultural economics and also the cultural importance of the cattle in Indian society. The millions of peoples in India, for them, cow is not merely an animal. It carries civilizational, emotional, and religious significance. Now, some people immediately respond by saying, "What is, our freedom of religion is under attack," and so many questions similar to this. Which is, I think, we need to ask that is it fair or not? But there is constitutionality, and also in Islam, there is no specific clause or any specific rule that we should only slaughter cows or cattle or any sort of animal. We can sacrifice other animals, and also this is just symbolic sacrifice that we are sacrificing animal. We can sacrifice in other sense also. I can sacrifice money, contribute in society, can help some needy people, student, and in many other needy people. So just as Firozbek Ahmed Saab said that it's kind of a status symbol and people trying to show that we have bought of this flag and that flag of animal, and then we are sacrificing and we are influential people of the society. The subject is that we need to understand that the Article 25 I was talking about, it is subject to public order, and it is not absolute, or any law or any clause of the Constitution. It is not absolute. We need to understand that it is subject to public order, morality, health, and the provision of Constitution. In simple words, says no practice can automatically claim immunity from the law itself. So Indian Muslims should also understand. We are seeing a lot of people in West Bengal, they're creating hue and cry about that हमें गोश्त नहीं खाने दिया जा रहा है, this and that. We need to understand we were not behaved properly in past years. Now we are, being taught to, properly behave as per the Constitution. I think this is the time now that we need to understand as Muslim of India, we need to follow the constitutional responsibilities as well. We have enjoyed constitutional rights, for a long time, but it's time now that we should follow and, as law-abiding citizens of the country, we are equally Indian. So we have to follow the constitutional responsibilities as well, because the current debates is being deliberately framed that it's religion versus some religion and this and that. But we need to understand the legality, and the issue is much narrower. Can it exist the state law enforced properly or not? This is the core issue about now, and we need to understand that the governance and what they are trying to do. If these law already existed, why did such high courts and they are interfering now? Because if we take the example of West Bengal, we see how Mamta Banerjee, how she was managing the West Bengal and the situation of West Bengal. It was out of hand, and now Swedu Adhikari government, they are trying to rectifying the all system and everything which was out of practice, and they are taking all the measures to correct everything in the state. So I think it is very important, and we need to follow all the rules. Whether it's about slaughter of any particular animal, or slaughtering on the roads or in open areas, and or maybe creating all the problems in the society by because so many people they can't, even as a Muslim I can't see an animal being slaughtered or the remains here and there and the stings and there's so many disease after such remains, we see everywhere in the society. Even in Delhi, we see such scenes everywhere.
Right. Professor Ahmed, you've already spoken about it, but what percentage of Qurbani in India actually involves cows and other animals?
He's on mute, I feel.
Yes. And let me tell you, as Amber was also saying, that this Qurbani, this slaughter, this sacrifice, It is just symbolic in nature, right?
Right.
It is not a tenet of Islam. It is just if you can afford it, you please do it. This is what it is. Now, so far as cows are concerned, as I already told you earlier, that and I am again reiterating it, that hardly there are any Muslims. If you ask me the percentage, it
Yeah.
would be almost minimal. I can't give you any percentage unless I have read it somewhere, but it is next to nothing.
Okay.
Because right from, as I also gave you the example of Bahadur Shah Zafar, he also took out a diktat, he also took out a fatwa that no cow slaughter should be held on Bakrid. So, apart from that, as far as a cow is concerned, let me tell you about slaughter of cows. It is something which many people might not like it. Uh, you know, uh, my good friend, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath ji, he has a mutt. I mean, now he's in UP. Just opposite to his mutt is one of the biggest buchar slaughterhouses of India. I wrote in my, in my weekly column in a newspaper that this slaughterhouse exists where not even cows, but their young ones, they are also slaughtered, which is a very painful thing. But anyway, a percentage of those people I can tell you who consume, meat. In fact, there are just 20-25%, even less than those people who are vegetarian. But apart from that, 75 to 80% people in India, they consume meat. As far as cow is concerned, Muslim community, it's a big no to cow flesh. Of course, mutton, in fact, buffalo they consume. But what I feel is that on the occasion of Eid ul Fitr, sorry, Eid ul Zuha this time, that I don't think even a single cow would have been slaughtered, especially after the government's announcement. This is what I feel.
All right, Professor. In fact, I also want to once again go back to Amber here. Amber, if cow slaughter is not essential to Bakrid celebrations as per several interpretations, as you are saying, as Professor here is telling us, why has it become a flashpoint in certain regions? Is symbolism overriding scriptures here?
Absolutely, this is a valid question, and I was even pondering upon this point as well. Because why in India or in the United India before the partition of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh now, we see such practice. Otherwise, you go to any Muslim country or Islamic country, you'll never see cow or buffalo, for example, being slaughtered. They only sacrifice the goat or camel in Arabian countries, but it's banned in India. So I think we need to blame the so-called secular governments who let the Muslims slaughter cow in a country like India. And just latest example of West Bengal, we can see how Mamata Banerjee openly allowed Muslims to slaughter cow. And we have seen many other states where cow slaughter is it's allowed and it's okay. We need to I think it should not be allowed in any state of India, because for many people in the country, a cow is not only an animal, but it has so much value, emotional value, and so many people worship cows. So as an Indian Muslim, I respect those sentiments, and we all should respect those sentiments, and not even, as the Firozbak Saab also said, Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself said that cows or beef, we say it's not good for health. We should consume milk and ghee. So as a Muslim also, we should follow, and most Muslims all across the globe, they're following. Even Iran issued fatwa, even he said Darul Uloom Deoband issued fatwa, but it has been in practice for over decades and decades, and it was allowed by some so-called secular governments. So I think it is everything is being settled, and now Muslims are being forced to follow all the constitutional rights and responsibilities. I think it's fair that we need to learn following all the constitutional or legal responsibilities by force or by hook or crook, we say.
All right, sure. I'll get in a final answer from Mr. Bipin Sharma also as well. Do you think the efforts that state governments are making for regulation, they're going to last, or is this just going to be an ad hoc mechanism, or should we expect other states as well to follow suit?
No, I think, first of all, I cannot resist myself in really appreciating what these two very esteemed panelists have just stated, and truly appreciate. And of course, because we need to respect everyone's faith, tradition, customs, and there should be no misgivings. I mean, and no fake narrative should be served. And especially the social media, these, the IT Amendment Act, which these amendments which are made in the year 2021. So that also has done a world of good in, bringing some sort of regulation, streamlining the system. So that is one aspect. The second aspect, definitely, because if we as a nation of 1.4 billion take a firm resolve that we are not going to, get divided on religious lines, and we are going to respect everyone's sentiments. And then I think the day is not far when we can actually, not only become a superpower, but then, become a force to reckon with. And things are happening. Progress is there, quite evident. And also one fact, the Madras High Court, the very fact that it has said that with immediate effect, that also carries a lot of significance.